Hello guys, welcome to episode 6 of the Willcox Hour, and today's guest has 4.5k on YouTube and 1.1k on Twitch. Mr. SHD, how are we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. For anyone that's on YouTube, obviously the Twitch chat, I've been aware of this. The F1's on my left, so if I do occasionally just look over at the F1, that's what I'm doing. But it's great to have you on. And
Thank you for having me.
we'll talk about the football. We'll talk about your Twitch and YouTube journey as well. Everything like that. Just the normal stuff. Rovers, I appreciate the bits as well. So, when and why did you start being a content creator? Like, why did you want to stream?
Well, streaming I only started last year, around the April time maybe. Obviously with the lockdown and everything, didn't really have much to do. ADW, who you had on the other week, actually, I can see his house from my house. So when he started doing it, it was something that I was interested in, and we were talking about all that sort of stuff. So I just thought, why not? It was a little bit of just streaming streaming games, and there was my mates watching or whatever, and then it started to grow a little bit. I was doing different games other than just playing FIFA, and we were doing stuff like Jackbox, and then obviously as FIFA dies, you do different sort of games. I've been doing a lot of Football Manager recently, and been going over a year now. We're nearly at 1.2k, so it's going pretty well.
Crazy. As you said, FIFA dying. It's not great at the moment. It's not in a great condition. I mean, footies has been alright.
I haven't played FIFA since March, April, something like that.
April. God. I got console bans.
Oh.
But we don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about that at all. The podcast are very aware of that. It's been mentioned multiple times with different guests. But I was going to ask you the same question that I ask everyone. Did you start on FIFA?
Yeah. I would say so. Yeah, it was a lot of. I've never really played foot champs because I've never really had the time on weekends. So it was a lot of squad battles basically, and a lot of stuff like that. And then every other day I was maybe doing Minecraft or something like that. But it was mainly FIFA. Obviously trying to just build the best team possible and trying to not break everything that was in front of me. But it was that's pretty much how it all started.
Yeah. Why FIFA though? Why? Who chooses to play FIFA?
Yeah, it's just a game that I've always really played, really. And it's just, once you start, then, you just buy the next one and then the next one. And I'm not sure if I'll be getting it next year. I mean, I say that every year and I end up getting it, but at this moment, I'm not really too sure.
Yeah, I've already pre-ordered it, so, I can't really. But, I'm really getting into new F1 game at the moment. That's my main game at the moment. It will be my main game until the next FIFA comes out, probably. I completed Breaking Point today, which is like the story mode if you're not aware, which is incredible. And yeah, it just shows EA invests into a game and they can make it incredible. But yeah, back to your streaming and YouTube and stuff like that. When did you start YouTube? Because you said you did streaming from last April time. So when did you start
YouTube? Well, the first ever YouTube channel I had was probably about when I was 9, maybe 10. So that I did for 1 or 2 years. Again, it was a little bit of a competition with ADW. We both started out, and it was at one point it was a race to 10 subscribers, and it took us quite a while to do that. Yeah. I took it a lot more seriously, I think, than he did. And after a while, I kind of just stopped it. But then I think it was around October, maybe in 2015, sometime in the autumn of 2015, I started again doing a little bit of Call of Duty and FIFA. Again, it was a lot of gaming content. And then as more and more times developed, I've gone more into real life football content with obviously I have a five-a-side team, and the main thing on my channel is Bradford City and vlogs of Bradford City games, which it's obviously with the whole pandemic that season was kind of slow progression, but in terms of actual live football matches, the progression has been rapid compared to what I was doing with the FIFA and the Call of Duty sort of stuff. So people seem to enjoy that, and yeah, that's kind of the route that I've just gone down with YouTube. I've been doing that for, well, going on 6 years now.
A while to get to where you are, and sure you're excited to get those Bradford vlogs going again, as Rovers said in his bits message. Then you want them Bradford vlogs back.
Yeah, well, the main thing on the channel is the vlogs. Like, if you look at the views, statistically, the vlogs are what people are there to watch, and you know what I mean, it makes sense, to be honest, with people who can't go to the games, maybe can't afford to go to the games, or for whatever reason, maybe they live internationally, they enjoy watching it and seeing what they would watch from a fan's point of view, because you can't really see the fan side of things from the match highlights or whatever that they'll put on the YouTube channel or on the AFL Unclest or whatever. So people seem to enjoy it, and you know, like I said, it was tough when I was just basically sat in my front room with my dad watching the games, but you know, we've had 2 games already so far this season, and you know, the first one got like well over 2,000 views, nearly 150 likes. So I'm just glad that they're back, and yeah, glad football's back as well.
I think the subscribers will be very happy to see you back as well.
Yeah, hopefully.
Back in the stadiums, it's exciting to see how quickly everything's moving now. Except like, what's your opinion on the whole situation? Do you think it's too early to let everyone out tomorrow, or?
Well, I think, I mean, I'm not really a qualified doctor or a politician or whatever, so I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but as someone who's, well, I mean, I won't say I've lived my life normally, but after the first few months, if you look into like the research and stuff like that, it's not as serious as what the government make out and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just happy that finally tomorrow should be Freedom Day. Obviously, I know a lot of companies and stuff like that are still going to carry on with their rules and whatever. But me personally, if football's back, I don't really mind.
Whatever it is, as long as football's home. You know what? We won't know. We'll talk about the Euros later on. We won't go into that yet.
Oh dear.
We haven't done a podcast since the final. I think the last one we did was with All News, which was the day before it was the day of the semi-final, and we were like, it's coming home.
Yeah.
But you know, we'll talk about that a bit later on. But what aspects did I ask us on? Like, what aspects of content creating do you enjoy the most?
I probably like seeing the growth. Like, as much as it's fun recording, and sometimes editing can be a little bit stressful. Like, if you upload a video and you see that it's the best performing video out of your last 10 videos, that's like the best feeling ever. But at the same time, if you upload a video and it's the worst performing video out of your last 10 videos, then it's mixed emotions. But I there's not really one side that I don't really enjoy. So yeah, I'd probably just say watching the growth.
Watching the growth, yeah, definitely, especially when you put in like those hours behind the scenes to get like it all edited, things like that, get it up as quickly as you can. So especially with doing match day vlogs, you want to get it up. You want to get it up within a day, realistically, and obviously getting home, getting it edited as quickly as you can.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a challenge, and yeah, obviously for you to see the growth going. Sorry. And I agree with you with the 10. What's it like seeing what's your best of the last 10? I check that every time. I check it every time just to.
I'm refreshing mine every hour.
Do you?
Yeah.
So yeah, I always just give it a brief look over like which podcast did better, and then obviously from that you can sort of get a better understanding of like what questions worked better, and like obviously guests that people enjoyed and get them back on in the future, things like that. But yeah, especially for me with streaming, I've always said it's the interaction. I think that's my favourite part. Being able to just sit here and talk with people in chat is the easiest, and well, not the easiest part, like the best part of streaming for me. What about you for streaming? Because obviously you said about the growth on YouTube. What would you say it's the growth on Twitch as well, or?
I don't really know on Twitch, because it's just like people find enjoyment out of watching me get angry over games, which I find is quite mind blowing, to be honest. But I won't really say there's one specific thing that I enjoy the most about Twitch, it's just kind of been mind-blowing that people enjoy watching me play video games basically for hours upon hours.
Yeah. But like, yeah, with that, obviously there's some clips of me on my channel where I've just flipped out at FIFA, and I think that they're the parts that everyone finds the funniest.
Yeah.
Just when I'm sitting here playing Champs, I've been playing it for hours and I've just had enough. I think there's one clip of me where I just throw my headset and saying, "Who we raiding then?" I'll just instantly end. But yeah, it's very stressful sitting here playing games to viewers, because you never know how you're going to react. Like, before you sit on a stream, you're not going to know how that stream's going to go, and things like that. Like, you could have the best Champs performance of your life, and you could win all your games, and then obviously everyone in chat's like, what's going on? You're a pro player at this point. But yeah, obviously you can't prepare for how you're going to rage. You can't prepare for who's going to come into chat. And I think we discussed this with ADW as well. And he said there's a few people that he's known within the community, and I do as well. And I'm not going to name names, as he didn't either. But there's like times when because I have my viewers hidden personally. Because I never like knowing how many I'm on during the stream. I check it after the stream. But it's people that check their viewers and just end after that, or get angry about that, and obviously that reflects on the viewers. And yeah, it's like there's a couple of people who were where they wanted to be at streaming, and then obviously due to like lockdown restrictions, things like that, obviously it's not at the same point. But yeah, with that, it's obviously it's whatever your preference is, but just keep going. It's always been like my number one tip for anyone streaming. Just keep going with keep it consistent. I'm one to speak on consistency, but just keep them consistent, and people will eventually start popping in, start coming back to streams. Especially like at the end of streams, let them know when you're next streaming, get them to follow socials, things like that. That's like my number one recommendation, and I ask this to every streamer and content creator that comes on here. What's your number one recommendation for people, for any streamer, or like people just starting out, things like
that? Stream as often as you can, or for as long as you can, because it's really hard to grow your channel if you're not live. And I've said this quite often. I finished college recently. I've not really had much else to do, so I've been streaming for like 8 hours a day for 5 days a week. Now I don't have that time now with Bradford City coming back and that sort of stuff. So, but if you just sat there playing some on your Xbox, just why not stream it? If 5 people come in, that's still some sort of growth. You know what I mean? You're some way up on that game category, and new people who are scrolling through will be able to find you through that. So, but that's what I would say is you're not going to be able to grow if you're not live. So stream as often and for as long as what you can.
Yeah, exactly. You make a great point there. You're not going to grow when you're not live. But yeah, no, you say you've put that perfectly there. It's another tip that a lot of streamers do give out to beginners and things like that. Obviously, trying to get affiliate and stuff like that is very difficult to keep the consistency up for that, especially when you start out. I was lucky enough to have a group of friends who just sat in the stream for me. And we're like talking in my chat and stuff, and obviously that bumps you up the game thing. I've mentioned it before. I started on Siege. I think I was on like five viewers, and obviously people just come in from that. They see, oh, there's a few people watching, and might as well come in, and that's how I grew, was by just consistently streaming and streaming as much as I can. And you said there you're streaming 8 hours 5 days a week, but that is a crazy amount. I don't think I could do that myself.
Well, I was doing that majority on Football Manager, and I feel like Football Manager is one of them games where if you play, you can't really just play it for 1 or 2 hours, because you're not really going to get anywhere. You might get 3 games, and if you got transfers and all that sort of stuff. So it was kind of quite easy to do, but then if I got annoyed at it or I got bored of it, you could just go play a GTA playlist for 2 hours or whatever, or hop on Fortnite or whatever. Like, there's a few games that you can alternate between, and obviously that will fluctuate your viewer count or whatever, but at the end of the day, I'm not streaming, you know what I mean? It's not a full-time job. I'm not really bothered about the viewer count. It's just if people want to watch, you know what I mean? I'd be sat here doing that anyway, so why not stream it?
Yeah, exactly. I had the same thing a couple of weeks ago. I was sitting there just playing Football Manager, and I was like, you know what? Why not? Why don't I just stream it and stream for a while? But yeah, you make a great point with Football Manager there. You've got to play it for a while. I think there was one day. I think this was like September time, but I just remember it. I sat there for all day. I woke up in the morning about 9 in the morning, and I just sat there all day in front of my screen, and was just playing my Maidstone United save. I was sitting there for a whole championship season, just trying to get as far as I could, and I only got halfway through the season in a full day. It takes
a long time to get through a season.
Yeah, I'm in 2036 on one save.
Bloody hell.
Which I started at West Brom, now at Spurs. But yeah, I won the Champions League with Atletico Madrid in that. So yeah, that's been a good save. And then my other one, I'm only in like my third season with Maidstone United, and I'm in League 2 now. So yes, it's all right. It's all right. I love Football Manager. I think it's one of my favourite games.
It's such an underrated game as well. Like,
agree.
They won't really ever get as much credit for being a football game. One, because it's like the versions on Xbox, or whatever, they're not not as good.
Yeah.
And obviously, when he's competing with a game like FIFA, you know what I mean, it doesn't really stand much chance. It's a bit like PES in that respect. But in terms of a game on Steam, and in terms of like an actual Football Manager experience, it's levels above career mode.
Yeah, agreed. And I can't remember who I was discussing this with the other day, but so FIFA are trying to make career mode up to that standard, and they're trying to implement all. They are trying to take little ideas away from Football Manager to try and get them into their games. Obviously, like we had the player chat feature being added. Was it FIFA 20? It got added.
I have no idea, but
yeah, I think
maybe.
And like being able to change players' positions, things like that. Just little things like that they're getting little ideas, and obviously they are trying to compete with them, because it's not their most popular game mode, career mode.
I think that'll always be the problem with FIFA, is the prioritise. Obviously, there's a lot more game modes on FIFA, so they prioritise other ones. So it's like, say when they added in the player chat thing on career mode, if you tell your player that you don't like him and he's playing horrible, whatever, it doesn't really mean anything. But if you do it on Football Manager, then he'll just be like, refuse to play, or he'll play poorly, and then he'll try and force the move away or whatever. So I feel like if they want career mode to be anywhere near the level of Football Manager, they'll need to like properly dedicate some actual time to it, rather than just sort of dabbling into it and tweaking things here and there. It needs like a proper overhaul. But I feel like that's the same with every FIFA and every game mode. Every year we're all sat here in the summer like, well, we need a completely overhaul of the whole video game, which it shouldn't be like that.
No, agree there. There's a lot of issues with FIFA, and obviously now's the time that all the leaks and stuff are coming out. And it gets this time of year, every single year, the leaks and everything comes out, and everyone gets really, really excited for it. And as soon as these leaks are implemented into the game, they're not half as good as what the leaks said. And obviously everyone's getting gassed for it, and they're like, oh, this is going to be great. And then as soon as they come out, it's like, oh, it's not exactly what we were looking forward to. But did you like regularly play Ultimate Team?
Oh yeah, I've played it since FIFA 10 on the PS3, and then I moved over onto the Xbox One in FIFA 14, I think. So I played for it vaguely on the PS3. Like, it wasn't really ever something that I played a lot. I used to spend a lot of time in like the practice arena or on skill games, because the first ever game I played of FIFA 10, I remember it very well. I lost 4-0 to amateur, and I just turned it off, and I didn't play it for about 6 months. And then when I went back onto it, I went on to like career mode and stuff like that, and I really started enjoying it. And then kind of since maybe FIFA 16, it's kind of just been something that you just buy. Like, it's not really where you go, oh my god, I need to get the new FIFA because it's such a good game. It's kind of just, yeah, it's just the best football game, and you know, I love football, so I'll just get it. But the more I get older and the less time that I have, I'm just a bit like, it's just not what I want to be spending my Monday evening doing, playing squad battles to get a 25k pack and pack, but it's Sergio Reguilon. It's just not what I want to spend my time doing.
You don't want to get Reguilon? What a player! You don't want to get him?
Terrible player.
Terrible player! We're starting that now. disappointed. I'm disappointed. I'm literally sat here in a Tottenham shirt, and he's telling me Reguilon's a terrible
literally could have
player.
picked anyone.
So disappointed. Do you know what? If you'd said Sissoko, it's fine. You said Winks, it's fine. But I'm defending my Reguilon here. He's a baller.
Right, we'll say Danny
He's a
Rose
baller.
then instead.
That he's at Watford. He's not even ours.
Oh, he was at Spurs.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. He was a good player back in the day. I loved him under Poch, and then he got in his argument with Jose, and that was great in the documentary. It was like, fine. I'm going to Daniel then. I've had enough of you. And then what's it? It's the part. Have you seen the part with Daniel Levy when he comes in and he goes, "Oh, have you heard any more about AC Milan?" Because obviously he wants a big move out.
Yeah.
And he ends up at Newcastle.
No, but Newcastle are interested though.
Yeah, it's a reasonable team, and I do hope Danny Rose has a good season next season. Sorry, the F1, Hamilton's just overtaken Leclerc. That's interesting. Oh, I've lost track of what I was saying now. Thanks, Lily. Where were we? We're talking about Danny Rose. Danny Rose.
Terrible Spurs players.
Terrible Spurs players. But yeah, I do hope he has a good season next year. I hope Watford stay up. For the cycling GK's sake, you know.
Yeah, just for the quality content on the GoPro.
He won't be starting next season, most likely. It's a little bit annoying to see. I don't see him starting week in, week out.
He said, and he's going to do one more year at Watford, then a year in America, then he's going to go to hashtag. So who knows?
Well, I think he should go out to Inter Miami. Go work with Beckham.
Yeah.
That'd be a story to have. But were they at United at similar times? Was it just after Beckham that he was there?
I have no idea, to be honest. I'm
not helpful there. Not helpful in that situation. So, you know, I haven't updated my like questions and stuff that I normally ask, and I was just looking through them because I was gonna like go on about the Euros and stuff, and I've got like predictions in there.
Italy to win on penalties.
Italy to win. Oh, that's a bold prediction. Yeah, I've got things like prediction for Golden Boot. Well, do you know what? Just before we talk about like about England's performance, etc., things like that, what were your thoughts on them giving the Golden Boot to Ronaldo and Schick getting absolutely nothing, despite being on the same amount of goals? And
I don't really know. I mean, did Ronaldo do it in less games? I don't really know. Maybe if
maybe he had
Ronaldo
one
did it in
less game.
games, I can see why.
Yeah, I think he did it in one less game, maybe.
That may be. I mean, maybe he could have got like a runners-up medal or something.
Yeah, but then but then you've got the same thing. What was it? When was it? Salah, Mane, and Aubameyang shared the Golden Boot at one point, didn't they? In the Prem.
I don't know. I'm not really too clued up on Premier League football, to be honest.
What league are Bradford in now?
We're in League 2.
League 2.
Been in there for a few.
Are you going to get promoted this year?
We should do this year. We should do. We've got a brand new manager who's got experience of promotion. We've got some, like, you know when you make a signing and you think he'll do all right, and then he turns out actually being terrible. Like, we've not actually made a signing where I think he could flop. Like, all the signings we made are top tier for League 2.
Yeah.
So I think we should be able to go on, and well, hopefully the third time of asking get promoted.
Ben's just bet you say that every year.
Well, I may have said that in the season when we finished bottom in League 1, but.
But you know, it is weird. I'm gonna start going back to Charlton regularly again next year. So I love like League 1 lower league football. Obviously I was always brought into the Tottenham world, and I had a Charlton season ticket the year they got promoted back to the Championship.
Yeah, I went to that game at Wembley when they won it in last minute.
I was there as well.
Yeah.
I was absolutely crying. I'll never forget this. This is a very weird thing to never forget, but I remember an old man giving me a massive hug at full time. When it was just a very odd thing. He was sitting next to me and he was crying that they got promoted, and he just gave me a hug, and I was like, And then I was like right next to Sunderland fans. So as they were going out, everyone's waving them goodbye, not saying you're staying down. It was so funny. But
I feel like Sunderland are cursed. They're just going to be in League One forever.
Oh yeah, they're not getting back up. It was like back-to-back relegations. It was just like, really?
I mean, it happened to Southend, didn't it? They'd been relegated to National League.
Yeah. Well, that's a crazy one, and my mate's an Orient fan, so he was loving that. Still is going on about it at the moment. But yeah, he's loving it. But yeah, we'll go on to like EFL football and stuff like that. And I am going to be doing podcasts to start up Series 2. So this is the last episode, not the last episode, one of the last episodes of Series 1. And then to start up Series 2, we're going to be doing like EFL predictions and things like that. So we need to get you on for that. Because I'm going to get like you, Brad, Finn on, getting some like EFL fans on. And then yeah, I'll do the same with Prem as well. So yeah, it'd be alright to start off Series 2, and I've got some big guests lineups. So, you know, we keep that under the radar for now. But yeah, we'll talk a bit more about EFL and stuff like that a bit later on. But let's go back to the Euros. England. It was coming home at one point. It was coming. And I know David in chat's going to say it was never coming home. What do you make of England at the Euros? I mean, obviously they surprised everyone. But
if you'd have said before the tournament we'd lose the final on penalties, then feel like you probably would have taken it.
Yeah.
As much as it would have been heartbreaking, I don't think anyone expected us with the amount of the amount of people that didn't believe in Southgate, me being one of them. With the first couple of games we had in the group stage, I thought we really would have struggled, and well, obviously we did struggle in the first few games. But after that, you know, the Germany game, we were fantastic. Then we did play in the quarters. We played Ukraine, didn't we?
Ukraine, yeah.
In the quarters, that was very comfortable. The Denmark game, obviously, it's a worldie of a free kick, but we managed to get through that. And then obviously the final, as soon as Luke Shaw put it in, I think we all thought he was coming home, and then obviously the equaliser is such a poor goal to concede. You know, Kieran Trippier's at the front post marking someone who's quite clearly taller than him, and then there's no one there to clear it off the line after. Pickford makes a worldie of a save, and then it goes to penalties. We have a few poor penalties. Pickford then saves the impossible and saves the Jorginho penalty, and then unfortunately Saka's penalty is saved. And yeah, I just remember sitting there in silence and not really knowing what to do. But if you like I say, if you said before the Euros we'd have got to the final, I think everyone would have taken that. It's just so disappointing to lose it on penalties.
Yeah, agreed. And we were in control in the penalties as well. That was the most annoying part, I think. Just imagine Rashford had sent Donnarumma the wrong way. Just imagine if that had gone in.
Just move the goalpost slightly over, and we've got the European champions.
They weren't great. I think like Rashford's pen, awful pen. Saka and Sancho, at least they were on target.
I mean, Donnarumma is absolutely massive. I think he's got like nearly 70% penalty save ratio. So you just gotta. Yeah. The thing with penalties is, if you just hit it as hard as you can, it probably will go in. But they like doing this sort of run up, and you know sometimes it works, but when it doesn't work,
stutter.
You look a bit silly. and yeah. I mean the penalty order personally, I didn't really agree with. I think Sterling should have been up there. I mean Maguire's penalty was probably the best out of all. He's a bloody centre back.
But he did the same in the Nations League as well. I remember that. I think it was against Switzerland. Something like that, the third place playoff or something like that. Yeah, he did a really nice pen then.
Pickford took a penalty then, didn't he? I mean, I actually wouldn't have been against Pickford taking a penalty.
No, it would have been. I think. Do you know what? As Maguire was stepping up, I think everyone was like, "Why is Maguire on the second pen?" But then he smashed the GoPro. So yeah, he did alright with that penalty, and obviously with the penalty order and who took them, obviously they'd shown it in training, because obviously you would have worked on pens. They've obviously shown in training that they can take a nice pen, and obviously that's why Southgate and his coaching staff decide on that. And I don't think he would have forced any of the players to take one either. I think those players would have stepped up, and I'm going to talk about it because it's an important thing to talk about. The racism that the players got because of it, I think, is ridiculous, because not many players would step up to take a penalty in a Euros final.
Not many people, never mind actual footballers.
Yeah. And with the fact that it's being Saka, how old is he? 19? 19 years old, stepping
put the
up.
pressure on a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
I thought, I didn't really agree with that.
I would have liked to see Grealish take one.
I mean, Grealish said he would have liked to take one, and Grealish has always said, hasn't he, pressure's a privilege.
Yeah.
And I think Grealish, you know, I mean, he loves playing with pressure, and I think he would have probably made. I mean, who knows? You know, I mean, it's just I can't really think of the word right now, but you know, I mean, we're thinking in hindsight, that's the one.
Yeah, Ben's just put in chat. Would you have scored in the shootout?
Yeah, they just absolutely levered the ball and hopefully did Donnarumma's nose or something.
So, what corner would you go to? Or would you just lever it down the middle?
I just leather it and hope
hope it goes on target at least.
Yeah, try to keep it down.
So, what did you make of our final performance? What did you think of the performance in the final?
I think it's always a negative to score so early on.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but when you score so early on, you especially with Southgate, he's going to want to sit back and protect that. And against a team like Italy, who are going to just pass the ball to death, you're not going to be able to keep them out for so long. And as much as we actually did in open play, just one set piece and one poor bit of player marking, it's cost us in the end. And that's the most frustrating thing. Like we were able to defend it well.
It was just a scrappy finish that lost it. But I liked how we set up. I think we were playing reasonably well. I think we played well throughout. I think the first half, I think we were the better team until the last 20 minutes or so. Second half, they were the better team until the final 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then extra time, it was pretty much end to end until Italy started to lose some energy, and we were unlucky not to capitalise on that. I think, and obviously just before full time, just before extra time, obviously we had the Saka incident. Do you think that was a red? Without being biased, was it a red?
No, it's never a red card. It's just a tactical foul. It's like if he just trips him up, then it's not a conversation. But I think it's because the fact he's pulled him around the neck basically. But if he pulls the bottom of his shirt, then there's no question about it. It's just a tactical foul. As much as it's annoying, the people making bloody petitions trying to get him arrested or whatever for assault, I think it's absolutely pathetic. In every rule book, it's a yellow card.
Exactly.
If it would have happened the other way around, then it'd be a red card. I'm sure everyone would have been absolutely outraged. So yeah. I think it's a yellow every day of the week.
It's exactly what I said as well. In my group chat with my friends, I was checking it at full time, and everyone's going, "Oh, that's a definite red. It's a definite red." And I was like, "Actually, in the law book, it's not.
Just a tactical foul.
It is a yellow card. If he was the last man, it would have been a straight red. But it was the fact. I think
it probably could have been last man, because in a foot race between Saka and Bonucci with a covering centre back, Saka's going to leave him in the dust. But on the halfway line, you can't really say there's a goal scoring opportunity when there's defenders basically in line.
But obviously, in the rule book, there's nothing saying that if a player is much quicker than the other one, then it's a clear goal scoring shot. And do you know what? Connor's just put in the chat. He's just reminded me about the tackle on Grealish. That was a yellow card as well. There's people that are saying that was a red as well.
I thought it was a little bit naughty, but again, if it's the other way around, us English fans would say it's an accident. Which it wasn't nice, but I wouldn't really say he meant it.
Yeah.
I think a red would have probably been a bit harsh.
And Ben's just made a good point about the last man. That it's too far away from a goal to be an obvious goal scoring opportunity. And that's definite, because you never know. Donnarumma could have come rushing out of his goal and 2-footed Saka, and then that could have happened. But with the tackle on Grealish, he won the ball. It was the follow through. If he'd missed the ball, it would have been a red, because it was studs up straight. It was both studs up into his leg.
Definitely.
Would have been a red, but because he touched the ball and then he went into his leg, wasn't given. But yeah, it's controversial, and a lot of people were saying that the referee had a poor game, which he did. He didn't have a great game, but with the decisions on cards,
Denmark were a lot worse. I thought
yeah,
they were
definitely.
awful. The Denmark one.
Do you know what? I was thinking referees had been doing really, really well throughout the tournament, and the semi-final and final, the referees weren't as great. For me personally, watching England games, I think the referees had been very good throughout, and I wish that we could get some of those refs in the Prem. But yeah, I think it was the guy that refereed either the final or the semi-final also refereed the Germany game. And he did really well in that. That Germany referee was, considering it's a big game, England Germany, I think he did a very good job there. And the semi-final one, it was never a free kick. Never a free kick for Denmark's goal. It was a great free kick.
That happens all the time in football. Like if that's in the penalty area, the referee doesn't even consider it. I thought it was very, very soft. I mean, to be fair, it's a good strike. Maybe Pickford should save it, but I don't think we can really complain too much about the free kick. Maybe it should have been. If it's the other way around, are we calling for it? Probably.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
We won at the end of the day, so it doesn't really matter too much.
This is the most controversial question I'm going to ask you now. Was Sterling's penalty a dive?
Which game was that? Was that Germany? No,
the Denmark one.
The Denmark one.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it was.
No.
He got the contact on the knee, and then he got shoved in the back. And when he's running at that pace, it'd be impossible to stay on your feet. I mean, even if you're walking, if you're getting clattered into the knee and then shoved in the back, you're never going to be able to stay on your feet. But the fact he's running at that speed as well.
Yeah.
It was always going to be a penalty.
It was never a dive, and David's saying in chat dive, obviously his Scottish bias coming into play there. It was never a dive.
I think it would have been.
I can see where people are coming from.
To square it as well.
Yeah, I can see where people are coming from with it, but it was quite minimal contact. But running at that speed that he was with the ball, two knees colliding and then getting bashed into the hip, you're not going to stay on your feet, are you?
Exactly.
But yeah, exactly. I've just honestly, I'm struggling for questions about the Euros and stuff, because like my questions that I've got, who are your favourites to win the Euros?
I'll go Italy on that one.
You go Italy, yeah. Yeah, that's a good shout. So, yeah, who are your favourites before the tournament?
Well, I think it would have been the same for everyone. It was between Portugal, France, and England for me. I think I did a predictions, and I had England going out in the semis, in the round of the 16 to France. Obviously, I think they lost to Switzerland in the end.
Yeah, on pens, yeah.
I think France massively underperformed. I think it's usually not the favourites who actually end up winning it.
Yeah, agreed. And do you know, Connor's just because we were talking about the Sterling incident. Connor's just put should the play have carried on even though there was two balls on the pitch at the same time? The ball did not interfere with play.
I didn't actually notice the other ball was on the pitch until like a few days after, when I saw the video from in the stands, and I don't really know how that ball got on the pitch or why it was on the pitch, but it didn't really interfere with play. You know what I mean? If that ball would have gone out of play and they carried on playing with the other ball, then I could have seen why. But it was kind of near, near the players as well, but it wasn't close enough. It didn't interfere with their footwork or whatever. So I think if it would have been, if he'd have stopped the game there and he'd done a drop ball, it'd have been probably unfair for both teams. We're on the attack, and it'd been hard for them to defend.
Do you know what? David's just put a thought. The rule is it gets stopped no matter what. So I'm gonna get my law book here, in front of me, and I'm gonna just look quickly because I actually cannot remember the actual rule that's on it. Where is it? I've got the card of it. Dealing with injuries. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Disciplinary action. I thought that was a red card then for what fails to respect the. Is it in here? Must be in here somewhere. Maybe it's at the start.
Well, I've just googled it, saying football law prohibits two balls on the pitch, and the referee usually stops play and then discards the extra ball before resuming. It happened in a game for Arsenal in 2019 against Norwich. Arsenal scored when there were two balls on the pitch. And
I've ripped out a page. Do you know what? I give up with that. But yeah, exactly. The play. If it doesn't interfere, and the referee hasn't noticed it, then the play doesn't need to be stopped. That's how I do it personally. If I notice the ball,
especially when a team's on the, if it's in the middle of the pitch, then fair enough. But if the team's on the attack,
like when I've refereed at like the lower levels, like 7-a-side and like 9-a-side, things like that. Like you notice like brothers and like siblings of the the players. They're like kicking the ball about, and then it falls on the pitch, and then they stare at the ball. They don't, which is the right thing to do. They don't run onto the pitch. But yeah, it's like they're on the attack, and then a ball comes in. And it doesn't interfere at all. I just play on, and then we get rid of it as soon as the attack's over. That's how I do it. But under the official law, I think it is. I think David might be right that it does get stopped no matter what. But where were we? Right, let's talk about your Bradford. Honest prediction on where you're going to finish in the league.
Well, the last two seasons I've predicted us to finish around the promotion playoff sort of spots, and well, the first season we were in League 2. This time round we finished 9th or 10th, something like that. Last season we finished 16th. So I mean, if by the law of averages, if I've predicted to finish rock bottom, then we should probably win the league. So I think a top 3 has to be the minimum. You know, all the players and the board and stuff like that have said promotion is the absolute minimum this year. We've signed the manager on a 3-year contract, so they show a lot of faith in him. He's proven to be a promotion winner at this level. I think winning the league should probably be a realistic target. I mean, if I look at the teams around us in the league, there's teams like, no disrespect, but Sutton United, some of these teams I didn't even hear of 5 years ago. So, I mean, we should be comfortably on paper walking this league with the team we've got, with the budget we've got. But, football's not usually like that, and it wouldn't surprise me if like a Sutton or something like that won the league, because Cheltenham Town won the league last year, and they've got one of the smallest grounds I've ever been to. So, club stature doesn't mean anything. It's about, results on the pitch on that day.
Exactly. And we can sort of relate it to Prem, and obviously you said you're not as big a Prem fan, but with Leicester winning the league, something like that,
Yeah, I mean,
like at the time they weren't the biggest team, and they just recovered from relegation, and they didn't have much money. But Forest Green Rovers over Bradford. Oh, thoughts on that?
I mean, Forest Green are an absolutely tiny club. Vegan, everything is vegan. Their kits are made out of bamboo. They are a disgrace to the Football League.
Do you know what? My first, I think it was FIFA 19. FIFA 20 was the first time I properly played Ultimate Team. I used to just sweat out career mode every other year. Yeah. And I remember my save on that one was Forest Green Rovers. I took them to the Prem, and I was winning everything with Forest Green Rovers. So they do hold a special place in my
That's a disgrace.
My heart. I can't lie. I was gonna get Forest Green Rovers shirt that season. Their shirt is quite nice though. You've got to admit the shirt is quite nice.
Yeah, but it's made out of wood.
Yeah, but the shirt's nice. The design on the shirt.
It's made out of wood.
Obviously, you're not interested in the F1, but David's just said that Matt's been taken to hospital for the precaution. You saw the crash, didn't you?
I did indeed.
He's been taken to hospital, and Hamilton did win the race, by the way, for anyone that wasn't watching it. Which, good recovery from Lewis. Do you know what? You can argue either way whether it was a penalty or not, but take 6 points from Salford and you can be title challengers.
Yeah, Salford will provide good competition. I mean, they're paying.
They've got money though.
A lot of money every week. I mean, we can't compete with the budgets they've got. I don't know how they get around FFP, because they get about a 500 fans for home games, but they can somehow able to afford it.
Yeah. Well, they've got a lot of money from the players, don't they? Obviously,
Yeah.
the players have they have a fair bit of money from their time.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Is Beckham invested into that? Or has he come out now because he's doing into Miami?
Oh, I'm not really too sure, because they had that problem with Paul Scholes, wasn't he? Because when Salford and Oldham were in the same league, obviously Scholes owns, you know what I mean, he has shares in Salford, but then he was manager of Oldham, so they had to get some like clearance thing for that, so I'm not really too sure.
Could you imagine when they play Salford, it's just like, okay boys, just let them win.
Play. So the strikers at left back, today the centre backs are going to play on the wing.
Yeah, exactly, that's the way to do it, isn't it? That's how you play. That's how you play in League Two.
We're going to be playing with 9 players today.
Do you know, on Football Manager, on my Maidstone United save, I have a player that can play anywhere in defence and up front. He's my top goal scorer, but has also played half of his game at centre half.
Yeah, it's like I'm doing a Middlesbrough save at the moment, right? And I've got a player on loan from a Premier League club. The only two positions he can play are as a ball-playing central defender or as a wide target man on the right wing.
So random.
Can't play anywhere else apart from centre back and right wing.
So, like, I would have understood if it was right back and right wing, but
centre back and target man on the wing.
One thing I do like about Football Manager is when like you have an up and coming player who has a lot of potential, and then you like start playing them somewhere else, and then they start building it up there. So like the position that you need, and you can sort of just chuck them in there. They build it up there. But yeah, we were talking about League Two. Who else is coming up then? If you're saying Bradford are up, who else is coming up with you?
I think Tranmere, you know, I mean, they're a pretty big club as well. They'll have a decent budget, but some of their signings they've made, I've not really been impressed with them. I think they should be probably challenging. Mansfield always seems to have a really good transfer window, but then, you know, end up in a relegation scrap. I think Salford, obviously with the budget they've got, they should be up there. They just missed out on the playoffs this year. They've got one of our former managers as their current manager. I mean, when he was with us, his football was terrible, but I guess if it works for them, it is what it is. It wouldn't surprise me if someone like a Sutton, you know, did a back-to-back promotion, you know, with the teams doing back-to-back relegations. When you're on that run, you know, you never know. But I think there'll be some good competition. Forest Green always seems to be up there. Newport, another team that always seems to be up there and around it. I mean, not really looking forward to Newport away again, but yeah, it should be a good season. You know, it should be some good games. Fingers crossed we can do much better away from home than what we've done previously, because we went through a period of time where we didn't win away from home for nearly a whole year. We were 4 days short of a year for that, so you know, fingers crossed we can have a positive season.
Yeah, well, you know, I wish you luck for the season. But who's going down from League Two? Who's the two getting the boot? It's very tough.
I think Oldham might struggle. I'm not really a fan of their manager. I think Barrow might struggle as well. They've just lost their main man who kept them up pretty much last season. I think Scunthorpe are in for a really, really bad season. They've lost a lot of their quality players. I mean, 2 of their best players have come to Bradford in Gilead and Isa, and they've not really replaced them. I think they've only got like 8 contracted players at the moment, and the season starts in less than 3 weeks. I think Scunthorpe are probably my favourites to go down at the moment. With a team that comes up from the National League, they usually either do really well or really, really poorly. So maybe Sutton. I'm trying to think of who else came up from the National League as well.
I'm not very.
I can't remember who won the playoffs.
Down on National League. National League South I watch because that's where my local team are. But National League I'm not.
It was Hartlepool. Hartlepool. I think Hartlepool will do all right. I think they'll be down there, but we'll do a decent. And you've just mentioned Scunthorpe having 8 contracts. That's ridiculous. It's something like that. They definitely don't have enough to field an 11 without getting youth players in.
Wow.
I think they've got a transfer embargo as well at the moment.
See how Davis put in chat Bradford and Scunny going down.
I mean, to be fair, we were in a relegation battle last year, so
Yeah.
we had to get our academy managers to come and save us.
Well, at least you did stay up. That's the positive.
Well, we went
Um,
from being the team who were odds-on favourites to be relegated to then we won 11 games in a row and suddenly we're in a playoff hunt, and then we won like 2 games out of our last 15 or something like that and faded out to 16th in the table in the end.
Yeah. So, we've spoke about League 2. What's your knowledge like on League 1?
I know a
Reasonably
little
good.
bit about League
Reasonably
1 for when we used to be in there.
Who
We were in there
who
for
we
a few years.
who we saying for up and down in that one then? Start with getting relegated.
Getting relegated.
Getting relegated. It's a tough one to call League 1
I think
for who's going
Cambridge
down.
will probably struggle. They've obviously lost 30 odd goals. Paul Mullin, he's rejected the contract, and I think Cambridge will struggle. I'm trying to actually think of who's in League 1. I'll just give that a quick Google.
I think Cheltenham will do. Morecambe obviously coming up as well.
Yeah, I think Morecambe, another team who might struggle. Wimbledon seem to be a team that are always down there, so I'd expect them maybe to be in a relegation strap. It wouldn't surprise me if someone like a Sheffield Wednesday were down there.
Really?
With all the problems they've had off the field, bouncing back at the first time of asking, as a Bradford fan, I've seen it first hand. It's a really, really hard thing to do. So it wouldn't surprise me if someone like a Sheffield Wednesday were down there.
Yeah. You're not going to make Aaron very happy. He's one of my mods. I don't think he's in here at the moment, so you're lucky. But he's a Wednesday fan, and he's saying that they might not get promoted. He's not confident for the season.
With the problems they've had off the field, it doesn't really surprise me.
And obviously they're not gonna be able to spend much during the summer as well. I think they've made a decent amount of signings, but I don't think they've spent much money.
Yeah.
Obviously they've lost a lot of players as well because they're not being paid. It's just all a mess there at the moment. They need new owners as quickly as possible. And hopefully it doesn't go the same route as Bolton and Bury went. Obviously, one being worse than the other. But hopefully it doesn't get. And how do you think Bolton will do next year?
I think they'll just be a team, around lower mid-table between 14th and 19th. I don't really think they'll be in a relegation scrap, but I don't think they'll have enough to push on towards the playoffs. They had a really poor start to the season last year. They then went on I think they won like 12 or 13 in a row, something like that, and then they lost a few, but they managed to keep that momentum. Whereas us and Bolton started our promotion push at the same time. Then we fell off a cliff. We nosedived right back down, and then they carried on and managed to end up finishing in third. So fair play to them for that, and I think they'll be all right next season.
Yeah, I don't see them going down, but I don't see them getting promotion. So yeah, I agree with you being a mid-table side. But yeah, we've brushed over relegation. Then who's going up? The 3 teams to go up. It's very difficult
Charlton
to call.
are looking strong. Portsmouth, another team, looking strong as well. Rotherham always seem to be a team where they're either top 5 in League 1 or bottom 5 in the Championship, so I think they'll probably be up there again. Wigan are recruiting very well. Sunderland, as much as they seem to be struggling to get actually promoted, they always seem to be up there. Gillingham recruit very well. They've got a good manager in Steve Evans. I think Ipswich are probably my favourites at the moment to win the league. Some of their signings they've made have really surprised me. They've got the keeper from Salford, signed Wes Burns from Fleetwood. They've made a lot of other decent additions as well. So I could see Ipswich being up there. Cheltenham, I don't know how they're going to do next season. I feel like they're going to be a team who are either pushing for promotion or they'll be a bit like Morecambe and they'll really, really struggle. Because obviously a lot of their goals last season came from the long throws. I don't know how they'll work in League 1. Didn't score many goals. It was built on a really good defensive structure. They're hardly recruited at all, so I think they're kind of just banking on their team from last season doing pretty well. So I'll be interested to see how they get on. But I think Charlton and Ipswich are probably my 2 favourites at the moment, and then Rotherham, Portsmouth maybe for the playoffs.
Yeah. How do you think Wickham will do to bounce back?
I think Ian's just a good manager. He seems to have a good relationship with his players. I think they could be a team in and around the playoffs pushing for. I don't think they'll get automatic promotion. Obviously, I know they've not lost many players from last season, But I think they'll do all right. They'll be between probably 10th and 5th for me, something like that. They'll be challenging for the playoffs, but I'm not really too sure if they get into the playoffs, to be honest.
Yeah, it's good predictions in there. I'm obviously gonna say Charlton to go up. But yeah, I agree with Ipswich and Charlton going to be up there. Sunderland obviously always up there. Wednesday's going to be difficult for them to get up there, but I think they are going to get into playoffs. I don't know whether they'll go up for them. Gillingham I don't see being up there. That was one team that you mentioned, but I see them being like mid-table. They'll be up there for a little while, but fall off is what I think with them. And Aaron's just come into the chat, so we won't do any Wednesday slander, and maybe we'll move on to the Championship now. But yeah, let's just move on to the Championship then. Just because Aaron's come in. Championship wise, who's
Ice cream man comes back.
Yeah, that's really weird because there was just an advert on screen which had an ice cream van. Go on, run and get one. Run and get one.
I don't know why it seems to just be plonked outside my house.
Do you know my ice cream driver plays I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles. It's very odd.
That's a unique one I've never really heard
Always does it every single time. Which obviously, I never buy ice creams from that one for that sole reason. But yeah, let's move on to the Championship then. Who's going down from the Championship next year?
Some good teams in the Championship next year.
It's going to be close next year. It's very different.
There's not really a team that I look at and I think, yeah, they'll definitely go down. I mean, maybe Derby with all the problems they're having off the field. They've got a lot of experienced players on trial, but if you've got a lot of experience, then you lack pace and things like that. I think Derby could be a team that maybe struggles. Birmingham seem to, ever since they got relegated from the Premier League, seem to just be a team on the decline. They really can't seem to, Birmingham, I ever feel like they'll be in another relegation battle or this will be their year to get promoted. I don't really think there's an in-between with Birmingham. Could see maybe them being down there. Stoke is always a team who seems to underperform, but I don't think they'll go down. In terms of the teams that got promoted, Hull will be an interesting one. They seem to lack a lot of quality last time in the Championship in that second half of the season when they did get relegated. Huddersfield again, another obviously rivals a little bit with Bradford, so maybe there's a bit of bias in there, but fingers crossed they do get relegated. But yeah. Yeah, bold predictions. Do you know what my biggest prediction is for the Championship? Go on.
Sheffield United to get relegated.
To get relegated?
To get relegated, back to back. Could see it. I could see it happening.
Yeah, maybe.
That's my big prediction. But going up wise, who are we saying?
I mean, I think the three teams who got relegated are probably going to be in there and competing. I think West Brom, if they keep hold of Pereira and Carl and Grant, they've got some really good proven players at this level. Sheffield United, I mean, they don't have Chris Wilder anymore. Obviously, he left quite a while ago now, but I'll be interested to see how they get on. Fulham, I'm not too sure how they're going to get on under. I think it's Andre Silva.
Yeah, I think that's a different name.
I don't know how that'll work out. I think Bournemouth are probably my favourites at the moment. I really do rate Scott Parker as a manager.
Yeah.
And
be interesting to see how he does though.
Yeah, I think they'll do quite well there. I think they're probably my favourites to win the league at the moment.
He is very much a Championship level manager, and when he was linked to Spurs, I was obviously a bit like what. Why is he being linked out of all the managers? Every time he's been in the Prem, he's got relegated. I think he's a Championship manager. He does very well in the Championship. He makes yo-yo teams. That's what we go with on that. But yeah, my three to go up. I can't remember who I said in Finn's podcast. I think I definitely put Swansea up there.
Yeah,
definitely put West Brom up there. And at the time, Scott Parker was still at Fulham, so I think I said Fulham, Swansea, and West Brom. I think that's who I said. But now, I'd go West Brom, Swansea, and Bournemouth probably.
QPR are my dark horses.
Dark horses.
The second half of last season did quite well. I think they've recruited well again in this summer. I think there could be a team that maybe push around the playoffs.
Yeah. Joe, I'm not going to ask you Prem predictions because I don't want to be hurt and you saying Spurs are going to get relegated. So, Who's winning the league? That's the one thing I'm going to ask you.
I mean, it's very early on in the transfer window to call it, but I think City are probably my favourites. I mean, if they get either Kane or Grealish, which I don't think they will, but if they do get either Kane or Grealish, I think they'll be unstoppable, to be honest with you. I could see them maybe going invincible if they got Harry Kane.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm gonna go United now. I said Liverpool, but with Sancho coming in and potentially Varane, I don't know. I could see them definitely being up there, and Chelsea are going to be up there as well.
Yeah.
A few teams are going to be up there next season. So it's very difficult to call, as you said. It's early on in the transfer window. See how every team does. Nuno to win the league with Spurs first season. Yes, please. Cool. That's what I'm going with. Mid-table at best.
Mid-table at best. You'll be lucky if you finish
10th.
Yep.
I think Europa League. I think Europa League's the Champions League's the aim, but I think we'll get Europa League.
Nuno's just, I don't know. He's an all right manager, but for a club the size of Spurs, they should be getting someone a lot better than that.
You called us a big team. Oh wow. Thanks. Appreciate that. A team that's won nothing in recent years is a big team.
Oh, didn't they win the thingy cup in 2019?
The Audi Cup. Yep. You can rub the Audi Cup in. We also won the we won the Justin Edinburgh Cup last year, which is like the one. Do you know who Justin Edinburgh is? I'm sure you do. Yeah. Which is obviously the one between Orient and Tottenham, which is a yearly friendly. And obviously we drew with them yesterday, which I don't mind because we were playing our 16 and 17-year-olds, and that's when we conceded. But we had to share the trophy yesterday, which I think means we hold on to it though, doesn't it? Because we won it. We won it first.
Cut the trophy in half.
Cut the trophy in half.
Or half each.
No, I say keep it at Orient anyway, because obviously that's where his big managerial.
Spurs need the trophies though. Why not let them have it?
Yeah, well, you say we need the trophies, but we have actually got trophies somewhere. Trophy room is quite nice, to be fair, at the new stadium. It is quite nice. The European trophies from years ago in there. But I am going to finish with a couple of questions. I've got one on Twitter, and then one that Chloe's mentioned, which we sort of brushed over, but we didn't properly go into. So I'll start with the one that Chloe's put in chat. Like, what made you want to start YouTube? We sort of spoke about it. We didn't go into full detail on it. So what did make you want to start?
Again, it was kind of, I don't want to say competition, but it was kind of something me and ADW, we spoke about a little bit, and it was obviously, who can get to 10 subscribers first, then 25, and it kind of builds on that. And I mean, I'd probably say that was the main reason why I started again. The first time that I started, obviously, probably just from watching the side minutes, you dream to be people like them, and I obviously watched Rotashaw and stuff like that. And I remember at one point I was very, very addicted to buying FIFA points, because I thought, I mean, if he can do it, then why can't I? But then I obviously realised he'll be making a profit off of his videos, and I'm earning absolutely nothing. So yeah, it was not ideal.
Yeah, it's a very good point. But yeah, you make the comment on competition. That's obviously a big factor that would have kept you going, and keep up the grind. And you've got to a decent standpoint now, and the road to 100k, I'm sure, is swiftly on for next season. Yeah, is that the
yeah?
But what is your aim for by the end of next season, like football season?
What, the season coming up?
Yeah, where do you want to be in terms of subscribers wise?
Well, I mean, it depends how the season goes, because the better your team does, statistically, obviously, because there's more interest. But there's not really many big teams in this league anymore. Like when we're playing teams like Sutton, they've got a really, really small fan base, so it's hard to grow when you're in the smaller divisions. But I want to try and get to 5,000 by the end of the calendar year, and then maybe by the end of the season, maybe 6,000. It's a big target, but what's the point in it? I mean, if I came on and said I want to hit 5,000 by the end of the season, I mean, I'm not ambitious, so I want to be ambitious. I mean, if we get to 10,000, it'd be absolutely mental. But who knows? The sky's the limit.
Exactly. You might as well say 100k. But a lot of people are commenting this in the chat and stuff. and it is one thing that I was going to ask you about, and I completely forgot. Let's talk about Gaff.
Yes.
Where did the idea come from? Is what Brad asked on Twitter. Where did it come from?
Well, he's like owning a football team and being the manager of a football team is always something I really wanted to do. And I think it was around this time last year I was sat probably upstairs, whatever, and just playing Football Manager and be like, as the ice cream van goes past again, wondering, what it'd be like to do that myself. And some mates who I go to watch Bradford games, if I just, put it in the group chat there and was like, would anyone be interested in joining? There was a lot of people who were like, yeah, why not? So we originally started out with, I think, 8 people. I mean, I think since the first game, we've had so many different people play for us. We're probably closing on about 50 people playing in nearly a year.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, it's only a 5-a-side team, but actually, so much actually goes into it, like with how unreliable people can be, and actually getting enough players in. It has been quite challenging at times, obviously, doing the highlights for it and stuff like that. That was something that people really enjoyed at the start, but then we lost we got battered in our first few games. We lost 14-2, 16-3 with a couple
I've been
of the first
through it
results.
myself.
But now, fingers crossed, with the aim is to get promotion to the Premier League. We're nearly there. We can't play in this league for much longer because it's a youth league, and some of our mates are a bit older than me, so they're not actually able to play anymore, so we might have to go to a men's league. So I don't know how that'll get on, but yeah, I mean, they started it just because I wondered what it would be like, and it started off not the greatest. We were getting battered every week, but we signed some better players from teams in the league above when they folded, and since then we've been on the up. It's been a little bit expensive at times having to get loans in, and then that comes out of my pocket. I have to pay for the loans to play.
Yeah.
And it's not cheap. It's £28 a game.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. We went straight into for 6-a-side. Me and my mates. We went straight into men's league at 16.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a physical test. Obviously, like on the ball, agility wise, we're clear of them. It was just getting that ball.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one chance where I was bombing through, and I just got clattered in the back. We'd never scored, and this was the one chance we had. And it is very boring when you're playing up front by yourself and getting battered. It's not fun. But yeah, it's definitely something I've looked into. What you're doing now is I want to do a 5-a-side, 6-a-side next season with me and my mates. But yeah, as you said, it's getting the reliable players in and things like that. And so Ben did put in chat announce Gaff 11-a-side.
See, the thing is, with an 11-a-side, it's a lot more different than a 5-a-side. Like, a lot more goes into it. It's a lot more expensive as well. Like, in terms of playing 5-a-side, all you need to do is ring up your local goals or whatever and be like, can we join the league? And they'll be like, yeah, in terms of an 11-a-side, you need a secretary, a chairman, a manager who's got some sort of coaching badges. Then it's about getting a pitch hire, a kit with, you probably need a sponsor for that as well. Like, there's so much more would go into an 11-a-side team, and obviously you need to register. We won't be able to register for the upcoming season, and I think maybe by next season everyone will be at uni or doing other things and they might not have time. And it was something that I considered, but I just don't think we'd be able to get enough people committed every week for it to work, probably. I mean, who knows what the future holds, but right now I don't think it's feasible.
Could be the next hashtag, you never know. But yeah, we're gonna end it there. It's been great having you on.
Thank you for having me.
It's incredible, your journey within content creating, as we'll call it, and yeah, just sort of learning about how much work you put in behind the scenes, things like that, your thoughts on Euros, things like that. Excited to see how Bradford do next season. I'll be keeping an eye through your channel. And then hopefully how Gaff do as well. Hopefully you play well next season. Get a few results in. Get a few points under you. And yeah, maybe even get to the 11-a-side in the future. That's obviously the main goal. I'm sure. But yeah, anything you want to say to the Twitch chat or YouTube?
thank you for having me on. Hopefully I've not been too annoying. Hopefully you've enjoyed the ice cream van going past for the third time.
Make sure you go follow him, sub to his YouTube. All the links and stuff will be in the description. And obviously anyone in the Twitch chat that haven't seen him, I'll obviously put his link in chat once I've finished the recording. And if you have watched this far on YouTube, then why not hit that subscribe button? We want to hit 100 subscribers by my birthday, which is in October, late October. So that's the aim. And yeah, hopefully we can do that. Like the video if you've enjoyed this one. We've only got a few more episodes of Series 1, so keep your eyes out on the channel because there's going to be a lot of new episodes up and coming. So, yeah, because I'm going on a 2-week break soon. So we're getting that done as quickly as possible. So, yeah, if you have enjoyed, hit that sub, hit that like button, and I will see you next week sometime. See you later.